This conference will now be recorded.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We're supposed to close the 19th.
Me, but you can use it. You can add into it. It's mine personal, but yeah.
Oh, I see, okay, yeah.
You know, little things.
Just stuff.
Yeah, little things to wrap it up.
Yeah, it's a short meeting. I'm not gonna need it. I just set it up just in case. There is Councilor Lopez. I think we'll be ready to go. One moment. We are now doing electrical work over here. Just a moment. All right. I would like to call to order the Tuesday, November 16th meeting of the Monmouth City Council and ask our city recorder, Phyllis Bowman, for the roll call, please.
Councillor Belts is excused. Councillor Carey.
Here.
Councillor Lopez.
Here.
Councillor McKeel.
I think I'm here, but I'm still under advisement.
Councillor Oberst.
I'm here, but my computer's not.
Councillor Salinas Oliveros.
Here.
Mayor Kuntz.
I am present. For the flag salute this evening, Councillor Carey, if you can go ahead and lead us.
We pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tonight, our first order of business, as usual, the consent calendar consists of the minutes of the meeting of November 1st, which I unfortunately missed. Mayor Pro Tem John Kerry ably handled. So if there are any corrections or additions, we'll take those now.
I would move approval of the minutes.
It has been moved by Councillor Oberst
I'll second.
and seconded by Councillor Lopez Carey to approve the consent calendar as submitted. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hi.
And any opposed, seeing none. We do have this time set aside for public comments. There is no one in the room with us tonight. So I will ask Phyllis if we've had any public comments submitted or if anyone has identified themselves on the line to participate in public comment.
There have been none submitted and there is no one on the line.
All right. Thank you very much. We will take that reserved time and apply it to something else, I'm sure. Tonight, our business agenda consists of a couple of items, our typical reports. We have a brief work session, and I think that's it for us this evening. So I will start off, Janet Chenard, our finance director, letting us know about an item regarding dog licenses.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, honorable council members. Yes, in those sometimes random things that come up in the finance department, we were alerted to the fact that some of our ordinance language was extremely outdated. Even though we were practicing the letter of the law, we thought now was an opportune time to get a couple of the items updated to be both in line with state law as well as basically in line with practice. And so two items that I bring to your attention through Ordinance 1403 and hoping for a first reading this evening include, first of all, related to how how it works for getting a partial rebate or a partial assessment of the license. That actually doesn't have anything to do with the purchase or sale of the dog as currently reads in the ordinance, but in fact would only be prorated according to the timing of the rabies certificate. And that has been the practice for many, many years. And so that language we would like to see updated. And then secondly, and probably more importantly, we'd like to update the very dated language about guide dogs for the blind or deaf to service animals. Even though this is for a dog license, it is, specific to dogs. However, there's a much larger definition of service in the state law that are both trained and in training. And so we want to make sure that folks who are seeking dog licenses know that they can be exempted for those purposes. So that's the purpose of the change in the ordinance, and I welcome any questions.
I have one.
Counselor Carey.
How do you determine whether a service animal is actually a service animal? Not
So-
just wearing a jacket?
Right. So we can't actually ask that question. We can't request that they provide proof. The declaration that it is a service animal is considered to be a point of fact.
Thank you.
Interesting question. Since there is the ability to serve animals under the ADA laws, that you can.
She's right, that the owner's declaration for these purposes is the proof.
Interesting. All right. So this is a first reading only for ordinance number 1403, and ordinance amending Monmouth City Code section 605170 relating to dog licenses. And we will have a second reading and adoption at our December meeting. So if you notice any other typos or anything, you can send those to Janet before our second reading. We'll move on that. We do have a second reading, however, this evening, and Suzanne Duffner, our Community Development Director, will remind us where we are on the ordinance to adopt a change to our comprehensive plan map and zones.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. Yes, I just have the staff report to present for the ordinance to adopt comprehensive plan map amendment zone change 2101. This is being done through ordinance 1402, and it's for a 8.6 acre property located north of the 800 block of Craven Street, north and just north of Gentle Woods Park and east of Pacific Highway. So as you'll recall, you had a public hearing on this last month, as well as a first reading. Planning Commission's also had a public hearing on that after due notice was also provided for the proposed change. The proposed change would go from a public designation on this property to residential. And you'll see there that you have the two alternatives. You can conduct the second reading and adopt the attached ordinance, or take no action on the attached ordinance. So this second reading would enact the change and make it effective. So we have there a copy of the ordinance and the exhibits and a very long sample motion when you're ready for it.
All right. Carol McKeel.
I'm ready to do the motion, if that's okay.
Certainly.
I move to adopt ordinance number 1402, an ordinance amending the Monmouth Comprehensive Plan map designation for a certain parcel of real property located north of the 800 block of Craven Street North and east of Pacific Highway 99 West, being an 8.6 acre portion of assessor map number 8419, tax lot 1206, from public to low density residential, and amending the Monmouth zoning map designation for said parcel from public service to low density residential.
Second.
Thank you, Counselor McKeel, and I'll take the second from Counselor Lopez. And any other questions or comments? Counselor Carey.
Both. Did we not do a lot line adjustment that would move this into tax lot 1100?
There has been a lot line adjustment done on the property, and it was just in the process of getting recorded. And so as part of that recording, it may adjust the tax lot number depending on how the assessor does that. But that's the reason why we adopt and prepare these ordinances. We have a legal description and also a map that's attached to it so that we can track and make sure we know which property clearly that the action is being done on. But you're correct, Councilor Carey, there was a lot line adjustment. Those are type 1 actions, meaning that staff reviews and approve those on very clear and objective standards. So that has already been approved and it's in the process of getting recorded, but if it hasn't already been recorded. Hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you. I'm speaking in favor of this motion, and I think we've had pretty good discussion on it, but there might be value to getting some of this on the record. At least I think. The 8.6, according to the staff report of October 19, the 8.6 acres would yield potentially 48 lots. Without this change, that would isolate an area of property within our city limits that would remain public. So this is efficient use. This is efficient land use, in my opinion. And so I think that that we ought to. I'd urge, and I don't know that there's any opposition, but just for the record, I think we need to note that. And the other thing, and one of the comments that has come and will come relative to this is the conservation easement does not include the entirety of this property. It's there's a definition in there 100 feet north of I believe the property line of Gentlewoods Park and 100 feet west of where it turns that way. And so there's a pretty good natural area that's going to remain, and it's going to remain in public service. And any number of things could be done with that should we see fit. So as I reread this, there were two items that I thought were perhaps valuable to put on the record, and there they are. Thank you.
And Counselor Oberst, then Counselor Lopez.
So just a short add on, John, to what you said, and that is the idea of a privately owned parcel being zoned public service is kind of odd, as we talked about prior. And, I don't know if it's efficient land use exactly, but it certainly is more common sense land use to get at least part of this squared away and zoned as it probably should have been all along, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I would second your notion that this is a worthwhile move forward. Yeah. Rationalizing land use in the community.
Counselor Lopez.
This is really one of those times that I'd just like to say that I am quite impressed by the folks that I sit next to here, figuratively on the dais, because Councilors Carey and Oberst literally stole the words out of my mouth. And I just really want to thank them both for those astute comments there, both on a more efficient use and a correction of a non-standard, what I'll call a non-standard zoning there of a private parcel being zoned public service, while continuing to protect that conservation easement. So yeah, caps off to you both, gentlemen.
And to you as well, sir.
All right. Seeing no other comments and having the Men's Mutual Admiration Society meeting drawing to a close, I will ask Phyllis for the roll call, please.
Counselor Oberst,
Yes.
Counselor Salinas Oliveros,
Yes.
Counselor McKeel,
Yes.
Counselor Carey,
Aye.
Counselor Lopez.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, Phyllis. And that brings me to my mayor's report this evening, and just some sort of interesting goings on in the community. There is really impressed with a lot of the cooperation and a lot of the work that is taking place around some issues in our community. For example, Marty in her city manager's report has let us know about an opportunity to pilot some collaborative issue or collaborative solutions around homelessness and affordable housing that we will be applying with our partners, Dallas, Polk County, and Independence, to work together to put in an application with the state for a new program. And also continuing work by so many organizations in our community to try to get food and toys and things out this holiday season. Once again, the Elecran Food Bank, and we have local churches who will be providing meals for Thanksgiving to those who need them. Our warming shelter is gearing up to be opened every weekend in one of the communities, just to really try to take care of folks in need. So those partnerships are important to us. We are also working with our All Hands group, which has members from the school district, the university, the City of Independence, our fire district, and Marty and I attend, to try and build a community campaign of awareness around the struggles of people in our community are having with mental health, behavioral health, and other issues that really affect the fabric of community and the sense of togetherness that seems to have slipped away from us. So that group will be coming out with some initiatives in the coming weeks. And a very important part of that partnership, and many of these partnerships, have been the city manager, Tom Pessimer of Independence. He's a terrific guy. I am proud to know personally, but throughout this pandemic, throughout this last day with the City of Independence is next week. He is moving to Tennessee for family. We will all miss him. friend and partner. And happy to announce that their police chief, Bob Mason, has accepted the position of interim city manager at Independence. We will do everything in our power to wish them success. Friends of the Monmouth Senior Center, because the Senior Center itself does not charge dues. But the Friends of the Monmouth Senior Center, 62% of their members are from Monmouth. Others are from throughout Polk County and neighboring counties. So they feel comfortable in asking for additional representation. Plus, they never had a full board. So that's one thing we'll be looking at for them as we develop those criteria for our other boards and commissions. And they are really planning some great things. Last Saturday, they had a loteria, Mexican bingo, and created quite a good family event for that. They are looking at on December 17th, holiday bingo and a silent auction and pie raffle. And then on the 21st, actually, they're coordinating with our library, and they're doing a grandparent kid day, craft day, and do some winter crafts on the 21st at 10:30 a.m. with the library. So that's great. They're doing a lot of wonderful work over there as usual. Any other board and commission updates?
It's not exactly a board or commission, but I have been working with the group that is visiting with ODOT about the Highway 99W bike ped study. And we had an online meeting today where, so to go back, there was some outreach to the community. We had a walk up and down 99 from the police station all the way south and back to look at and talk about what's going on. They came back with a list of 20 ideas for various places in town. And we just kind of went over those today and gave them feedback of, yeah, that's not a bad idea. Oh, I'm not so good on that one. And they will now again reach out to the community for comment as they take our comments today and work them into a fuller presentation of the notions of what to do with the various intersections up and down the highway. So keep your eyes peeled for another opportunity to give input on how to develop better bike ped access up and down our U.S. highway.
Excellent. All right, and Councilor Lopez.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Arts and Culture Commission will be meeting this Thursday, November 18th at 6 p.m. It will be a virtual meeting, and I'm really excited about this one. We are going to be discussing a upcoming partnership opportunity with the library to help them coordinate an art show. So exciting things for the future here. And if any are interested, we'd love to see you. There should be a link on the website.
Great. Love seeing that active group as well. And Councilor McKeel.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm going to report on the tree advisory board. We did have our tree planting. We met to do our tree planting. I was sorry to see that the counselors weren't there because I did bring donuts and I had to eat 2 of them because not enough people showed up. So next time, folks, I hope you come for those donuts. We actually did go out to do the tree planting on November 13th. Unfortunately, the hole for the Douglas fir was in the wrong place, and it was a swamp where the hole was. So we were afraid if we put the Douglas fir in, it would die. The Douglas fir is probably already over probably about 10 feet tall. It has been nurtured by Laurie, the chair of or a member of the tree board. So the suggestion is to put it on the east side of the restrooms where there's a slight slope. So I have to say, we went out with our shovels and we said we can take care of it now. We'll dig the hole. And we saw a little irrigation entry point, decided we probably shouldn't do that, or we'd all be forced to move out of Monmouth. So we are taking this under advisement with the park department, and Chuck is so nobly leading us in this effort. We may be putting that tree in next week during one of the days with no rain. The other thing that we're trying to put in Madrona, and this was in Madrona Park, by the way, sorry. The other trees that we're trying to put into Madrona Park, because we have this really wet area, we have 6 corkscrew willows that Lori has also raised up. And so we'll be putting those in it as well. So they should do a really nice job. I think Chuck is also is working with the street department to see what trees need to be replaced. So our tree board is already looking past Madrona Park and onto other places where we can make an impact in this beautiful city. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Seeing no others, we will move to hear from Marty Wine, our city manager.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I just have 3 brief items to tell you about tonight. One is that you may notice on your agenda, we're trying to incorporate some of the things that you raised in your council retreat last weekend and bring some things back so that they are more visible and dedicated time for them. One is you'll notice that we've separated the business agenda and the work session. And so the item that's coming next is our effort to make the work session is happening, and that with some input and suggestions for work session topics. I've already gotten a few. So that's one change you'll see on the agenda. And the other is you'll see at the end of the agenda, we're listing future agenda topics so that you have a sense of what's coming forward in the next, we'll start doing it in a more than 1 month ahead of time. So I just wanted you to see that if you hadn't already. Second is something I've been telling you all about in Friday notes, and that is that we're all preparing. If you notice some of those bare looking offices with my colleagues in the camera behind them when they were doing their staff reports, we've been furiously purging and packing all of our stuff at City Hall and preparing to move to our temporary locations. And all of our public counter operations will move on November 29th to Monmouth Power and Light. And then court and city recorder and my office will be moving to the senior center. So our move is coming up very soon. It'll be the Monday after the Thanksgiving week. And we've been notifying folks through signage in the lobby and also some of our public posts that we may send something out just to let folks know that we're on the move. So that's very exciting. Even though you haven't seen the results of it yet, it's keeping us busy. Finally, just this afternoon, we got word that the Western Oregon University Community and Health and Polk County COVID-19 project team is going to be having 2 vaccine events, and one of them is this Friday. So that is on the 19th, on November 19th, on Friday at Ash Creek Annex in Monmouth. So those are great opportunities for vaccination and booster shots and all of that. So I just wanted to make sure that I let folks know that that's coming up here this week.
Yep, that is the corner of 16th and Hoffman Road. Ash Creek Annex is a former church that now is operated by the school district. And yes, it is, they will do boosters for adults, but also doing children's vaccines. And so that is available on a walk-up basis. And they will do another event December some date.
The
10th, which will also be boosters available, but then a second shot dose for the children. So yes, Councilor McKeel.
I am on my way to get my booster. So what are the hours for this vaccine clinic?
I have 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. as the hours.
So convenient for getting our vaccines.
True.
Thank you.
That's right. Yep, Polk County's taking care of us.
Great. That's all I have for my report today.
I have a question. Given the move into the senior center, what will be the impact on any senior center activities?
Well,
Or will there be?
We're not anticipating any major impacts to senior center activities. We have a couple of groups who have regular meetings there, and our senior center director has worked with them to make sure that they're settled in a place that they can continue their groups that meet regularly. And the rooms that will be, so council will probably be meeting in the main room of the senior center, but that's a night meeting, so it's unlikely to disrupt anything. Court will be meeting in the Willamette room, and the All-C room is the one where our offices will be, and that room has been largely vacant for the last year. So we're trying to keep our disruption to a minimum. And the director has also been working with the regular classes to schedule them at times when we won't be in the way. And we're grateful to we've let some of the seniors who meet regularly there know that we're grateful that we can come join them for a while.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
This is like beginnings of real, finally,
It's true.
moving forward. I'm thrilled.
Well, the status report that I gave you at our last meeting is also, we're coming up on a milestone with the request for qualifications for our general contractor to be finalized this Friday, and then on to a request for proposals in December. So you're right. I think there are some, real steps that are happening that,
This is the first one that the citizenry can walk by and see, oh my, that building's empty now, and understand that we really are doing this.
it's true.
There's one thing to go RFP, it's another thing to go empty. So, good.
Won't be empty for long before it's really empty.
Yeah.
All right. And so, as mentioned, that moves us into our work session agenda. I think hopefully everyone's okay to tackle this without a break. So we will bring into the fold Russ Cooper, who is, I'm sure, grateful to Chuck and the tree board for not digging up his sprinkler system in Madrona Park. And speaking of water, we'll talk about stormwater.
All right. Well, thank you, Madam Mayor and members of council. Before I jump into the stormwater update, I did want to follow up on Councilor Oberst's Highway 99 bicycle pedestrian study announcement. We will be at your your first meeting in December. One of the work session items I hope to bring to you is the project list, and to get some feedback from you at that. You're certainly welcome to, once you see it advertised, go online and make comments, but I do plan to bring that back to the council to get some feedback from you prior. It'll be concurrent with the public looking at it, but it's that developing the list and refining it before we get a final product, and so looking forward to that.
Great.
With regard to the stormwater utility, so it's been a year since the city started charging residents for stormwater services, and I thought it was a good time to come back and give you an update, give kind of a little bit of history. Maybe some of it will be some history, give a status of what the utility is doing, how it's financially positioned, and then also just provide an opportunity to talk about, give you the opportunity to ask questions about the status of it or the future of it. So with that, I'll remind you that it was January a year ago that we began to assess the fee. Council decided that it was good because of COVID and the financial impact on folks, that we implement that for the first 6 months with a 50% discount. We did that, and then beginning the new fiscal year, we began charging the full rate, ESU rate. And so that has gone well. From staff's perspective, we've not had a lot of feedback It's been, I think we did a lot of work up front and preparing folks for the fee that has gone well. I will say that what we have, if we've received feedback, that feedback has been a higher expectation of the department to provide service. And so, we knew going into this that would be an expectation. And so we've tried to do things that allowed us to be out doing activities that the public could see. And so in my report, I think I identified that we had done some catch basin work, some catch basins. And so that, we're just trying to, with the resources that we had, try to be out in front of the public as best we could to be seen doing things. The fee that we charge is based off of impervious surface area. There's a little bit of the history or background. It's based off of a impervious surface area of the property. And the average, in order to kind of set that base rate, the ESU or equivalent service unit, we base that off of what is the average impervious surface area for a single family resident. And that number was 3,542 square feet of impervious surface area. So that allowed us to charge a flat rate, or I'll call it a flat rate, the same rate to all single family residents. And then for commercial and our other users, their rate is based off of the impervious surface area divided by that 3,542 square feet, and then multiplied by the 1188, and that's how their rate is figured out. So just looking through here, some of the things that the council had an opportunity when we went through the process was what was the level of service that we wanted to implement, and that level of service had with it certain things that the city could do based on a rate that we charged our customers. And so council chose a basic level of service, and I support that decision. And what that level of service allows the city to do was to continue providing the same stormwater services that we provided before we implemented the stormwater utility. The other two options, one, I'll call it the gold-plated option. I had no interest in council considering that, but it was an option. The other was a medium level of service. And really what it was is it was a step up from what we're doing. And instead of being reactive, it would allow us to begin to be proactive in replacing utility, storm lines, be proactive in looking at construction sites and reducing erosion and things like that. It had a requirement for more staff, and the price was more. And so at the time, it was elected that we not do that and stick with the basic level of service. In my report, I gave a little update on the financial status of the stormwater utility, gave you some numbers for what we're bringing in, what we're spending. I think the takeaway for me from the numbers is that the city is charging the right amount. We're not charging too much. We're not seeing a lot of excess money reserves building up in this first 6 months, and we're also not seeing us go in the hole either. So I think we've set that rate at a good rate for us to provide the services that we have been providing in the past. Along those lines, if this is some of the history too as to why we looked at and needed to set up the utility, and we had those services were incorporated into the street fund. So we were basically paying for our stormwater services and our transportation services all out of the street fund using gas tax dollars. That fund was going in the hole quickly each year. And so there was this need to stabilize the street fund, and the mechanism would be to pull the stormwater activities out of it and allow that utility by its own revenue. So what I'll also say is that the street fund has, at the last report, it's pretty good. Spending is down in the street fund, and revenue is up in the street fund. So the street fund is doing was with the new utility. Capital projects. This year, there's 2 projects that are to be initiated. One is what we call the Stadium Drive storm line replacement. Pretty large project. It's over $1 million construction estimate. And so that's a project that we need to get the design started this year and start looking at the financing for that project. And then the other is initiating a stormwater master plan. In my staff report, I identified a couple of things that are for discussion, I think partly in this meeting, but I wanted to give you a highlight of those. And the first one is we recommending an increase as we move into the next budget cycle. The stormwater report that was a part of this whole process that was generated by the consultant provided us a 6-year rate, recommended rate implementation schedule. And the basis of that is to ensure that it has adequate funds for the projected expenses that we'll have. And those projected expenses that are driving the rate increases are the capital projects two of which I already talked about, and then there's two others that are about 2 years out. And so the rate increases are intended to cover the debt repayment. Looking at my notes here real quick. The other, or the system just has so many old holes in it, we call it inflow and infiltration, that you get too much groundwater or rainwater flowing into your sewer system, overwhelming your treatment plant. And so that occurs also. And so we do have an active I&I prevention program where we're addressing manholes that are leaking. That will transition into looking at sewer lines that have inflow problems in them as well.
Well, thank you. There's I'm always amazed at, you know, the amount of depth and detail and you know, that any issue or any matter with our physical presence here in the city has. I will say I've been impressed by our city that we've you know, been able to get ahead of those events and identify them before anyone else did and self-report. And it really you know, makes me feel good to know that you and your team are out there actively working on it as we move into the winter. So thank you.
Thanks for your support.
All right, others, Councillor Carey?
Well, I would echo what Councilor Lopez says. Where I live, down the Gentlewoods Park area, lots of leaves, lots of water. In the last couple that we've had, things have functioned very well. We don't have one of the new catch basins, but the one we've got seems to be working fine. But boy, it is certainly appreciated. The comment that I have is you know, I would be anxious to know when we get a little clearer vision on the positive impact on the street fund. This was a major component. People were less worried really about dealing with stormwater, but were more compelled to you know, be supportive of this idea because it would free up money for street improvements, bike ped improvements, that sort of thing. So I think that will be an important way to demonstrate the value of this. Of course, right now it's all about keeping the water flowing. So good choice at the moment. But I think the earliest opportunity we get, it would behoove us to do projects and say, you know, when Herb writes his story, he'll talk about how this was made possible by funding that would have otherwise gone to, you know, stormwater issues. You know, so good, but let's look ahead to how we can promote a little bit of what we're doing in the street fund. And then the second thing, you know, we're really not even a year into this fund. And, you know, to me, it's a little early to start talking about a rate increase. You know, and I'll be happy to see the detail that comes, but, you know, we don't even know what it all is going to look like, and we haven't shaken it out yet. And so, you know, well, I'm not prepared to say I would be, you know, categorically opposed. I will be categorically looking very carefully at it in the time frame we're in. You know, I mean, we're 10 months into it, 11 months, I guess. And, you know, so it might be a little bit early, and I know we've got a project, an important one, and I concur, coming up. So that might be the driver, but we're early in this process. So let's not get out ahead of, my suggestion would be not to get out too far ahead of ourselves and get over our skis on some rate increases too quick. Anyway, good work. And thank you.
And I also wanted to mention about the rate increase, because I remember as we went through this study, spent a lot of time on it. We did talk about the danger of setting a rate and letting it sit stagnant.
Yeah.
As we recognize many of our fellow communities must have done at one point, right? They just have these minimal fees, and by never raising them, you're never staying ahead of things. So I recall that. I was thinking, I know we've indexed some of our rate increases, and I was just wondering if that really did just have a flat rate projection or if it had an indexed rate increase projection.
Yeah, I'm happy to, and I kind of wish I would have included a couple of attachments, I guess, to the staff report. Or it would have been great if we were all sitting in the same room, because I certainly would have brought them with me. But so the increases are directly related to the capital projects and the debt repayment, so that the city is able to bring in enough revenue to pay for the debt repayment. So the proposed, and I'll give you the snapshot. The next year would be a 5%. The year after would be 4%, and then 1% and 0, 0. That's the projected or the recommended rates from the consultant, and the driver is debt repayment, not increased services or more personnel, or it is the debt repayment on those capital projects. So we can certainly, look at, do we want to push those out further? So anyhow, that's the reason for the rate increases and what the numbers are that are proposed. And then with regard to street work, I agree. We're trying to get this Highway 99 study to the point that we have real projects and descriptions, and then we'll look at making a lot of those improvements as quickly as we can. We've got some sidewalk work planned from Highway 99 to Atwater. These are all near-term projects. We've got some sidewalk work in the downtown corridor. So I agree, that they're both trying to show some stormwater work and some street work. We're trying to get both of those moved forward and out so that folks can see that. And I appreciate, that reminder from council. I agree, those are important things.
Yes, Councilor Oberst.
So, John, I would note nobody likes fee increases, first of all. The second of all, in our current inflation environment, a 5% increase may well be a 0% increase at the end of the day. And we're talking 50 cents a year. So, a nickel a month, basically. No, I'm sorry, 59 cents a month. So, yeah, I hate fee increases too, but if we have identified where it needs to go, and that's to finance this long standing line on Stadium.
Yes.
So I will take your advice and wait and see the details before I make up my mind. But I would also say if we have projects lined up that are demanding that fee increase, then the feds haven't raised the gas tax since 1998. And that's why we're in the situation where we need $1 trillion infrastructure bill.
Right, but this isn't gas tax money.
Right.
No, I concur. We just got to make these decisions with our eyes wide open.
No, I know. I agree. I want to know what's going on too.
Right.
Yep.
Other questions, Councilor McKeel?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Cooper. Very good report. And I thank you also for recognizing, or maybe it was Councilor Oberst about the sidewalks. Anyway, the idea that we need to get out there and be visible with the public on the projects that are getting done. I'm wondering if you want to make a sign that's like, it's not your stormwater fee at work, but something like that. So that it's, They don't always see the newsletter, but when they drive by and they see sidewalks being made, they're going to go, "Whoa, look at that." And I know that's a really hot topic when I talk to people. So something a little different than your tax dollars at work. So that'd be great, I think.
I like the suggestion.
You stole my idea, Carol. I'd already written up a note that says your stormwater utility fee at work, have a little portable sign for them. So
No, Councilor Oberst, we're just like this, right?
there you go. Or is it like this?
Great. Other comments or questions on our update here? It's a good reminder of a very long process we went through, so glad it's working. All right, off the hook, Mr. Cooper. Thank you for joining us this
Thank you.
evening.
Thank you.
And at this time, entertain any council comments or community announcements got going on. Stuff's going on. What do we got?
Well, I would say that Suzanne Duffner and I, filling in for the mayor, will be involved with a commitment ceremony tomorrow. Not a personal one, but a city. The National League of Cities offers a program on city innovation ecosystems. And it is, we're going to aim, and they're going to aim to assist us in achieving a tangible outcome that will drive inclusive economic development in our city. They've provided us a box of things that we're to have at our disposal. And I don't know about you, Suzanne, but I'm dying to use my new idea box that you can't really see, but I got it lit up there. Here we go.
Oh, here we go. Zooming in on it, John.
We're gonna get a look. I got my little Phillips. This is a
Nice.
thought bubble. Sitting.
That's great.
So anyway, and they have also provided us with some sparkling grape juice as part of the celebratory deal. But in all seriousness, this is an opportunity that we can access some information and resources under Suzanne's direction as the project lead to assist us with economic development that we've all been anxious for. And this is an interesting program, and we'll know more about it once we make our commitment.
There you go.
So just a reminder, the tree lighting is back this year. So on Friday, December 3rd at 6 p.m., we will be lighting up the tree on the campus of Western Oregon University. The traditional, visit from a gentleman in a red suit, and the mayors will be there. And I don't yet quite understand how that works with a big fence around Monmouth Avenue campus, but I trust that it will be taken care of. So Friday night, the 3rd, and then Saturday, the 4th, Making Spirits Bright. And so many fun activities will be going on downtown Monmouth. And I don't have them all listed. Maybe Suzanne wants to pop in and update us, or Phyllis, if what some of the festivities
thanks
are.
for that. Yeah, thanks for that plug, Mayor. I'm very excited to announce it'll be our 4th annual Making Spirits Bright, and we are bringing back some in-person activities after we took kind of a hiatus last year from COVID. Where we have a special guest, Caesar the No Drama Llama, will be visiting us in Main Street Park from 12 to 3. So we'll have a photo backdrop where you can come and have your picture with Caesar, and there'll also be some book readings from some special guests. The mayor, if she's available, will be able to join us for that. So it'll be a lot of fun. The Polk County Fire District number 1 is going to bring back their exciting chili competition, where it literally heats up. They have some hot chili, but they also, I've noticed, so there's several trying to defend their titles, and they raise money to go towards various charity events that they sponsor throughout the year. So it goes for a good cause. We'll have the passport to prizes for folks to visit local businesses and enter into win gift basket drawings, kids crafts at Mom Ears, They're doing a light decorating competition, and of course, all the wonderful, I think we're up to 25 now, light displays in Main Street Park with Santa's Village. So a lot of great things going on, and I forgot to mention the carolers are coming down as well. So be sure to come down that Saturday afternoon, maybe do some shopping at our local businesses, and hope to see you there.
Thanks, Counselor McKeel.
Yeah, I just wanted to make mention of the World AIDS Day commemoration that will be on December 1st, 7 p.m. at Western Oregon University Werner Center. And we'll have, besides a number of speakers that represent the university and the Monmouth Independence, we'll also have the Western Choir will be singing, and we'll have a pianist playing. So it's going to be a very great event. It's really designed to not just commemorate or bring notice to the loss that we have had, people dying from AIDS, but also to provide education that we are all affected by AIDS and impacts many different people. So and with the commemoration on December 1st. Thank you.
All right. Anything else? Counselor Oberst.
Sorry, just another short one. So as we talked about the stormwater utility, it was 7 to 9 years ago that we formed a stormwater that recommended creating, and it finally came into being. I was thrilled. We are finally taking care of our streets the way we need to take care of our streets. So it's something we all depend on, freeing up the money to maintain the streets and still have leaf pickup and street sweeping and all these catch basin replacements this year. This is what needed to happen 7 to 9 years ago. And I'm sorry it took that long, but I'm thrilled that and I salute the last council for taking that stand to say we need to do this for the health of the community. So yeah, good stuff, and I'm glad to see that it's working out so well going forward.
All right. Seeing nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Adjourn.
All right, I've got Counselor Carrie